Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We are live on YouTube, I believe. Alhamdulillah. This is our first live stream episode, so you guys are gonna have to bear with us while we kind of get used to it all and make sure that we're all live. I believe we are live, and we're gonna, inshallah, be able to read the comments at the same time to make sure that everything is going fine. This episode is with Sunnah Remedies, inshallah, brother Abdul Hakim. All right, there we are. Okay, I can see it on my phone now, so I know that we can. I know that we're good. I'm pretty sure we're good. I think some of the. I'm just double checking that some of the comments I feel like might be coming up on the screen, but I'm not quite sure. Let's have a look, guys. All right, perfect. Okay, so we're live on YouTube. All right, guys, just before we get into this episode, just want to say we're still raising money for people who are affected by coronavirus in a situation where they're elderly or they are, for example, not able to leave the house because they're isolating themselves. They have underlying health conditions. And what Human Appeal are doing is they're dropping food to them, food packages, emergency food packages, which cost around £15. And you can donate to that by going to the link in the bio or going to justgiving.com/freshly grounded COVID-19. They're also providing hygiene packs to people around the world in places like Somalia, Pakistan, Iraq, Palestine, who don't have like the basic necessities that they need. And you could donate to that as well. And so that's on justgiving.com/freshly grounded COVID-19. And secondly, guys, if you want to support Freshly Grounded and you're a fan of this kind of thing and get some bonus content, then please do check us out on Patreon, which is patreon.com/freshly grounded. And inshallah, what we're going to do is we're going to get into this episode 170 with Abdul Hakim.
And welcome to Freshly Grounded, the brand new podcast by best friends Faisu and Sam.
Huh?
I said welcome to Freshly Grounded,
No, after that bit.
the brand new podcast
And after that bit?
by best friends Faisu and Sam.
Really?
Okay, and we are good. Let's bring Abdul Hakim into the mix. Assalamu alaikum, Abdul Hakim. How are we doing? Alhamdulillah, I'm very, very well. Alhamdulillah, so far, everything seems to have gone smoothly. Yeah, alhamdulillah, we're live. So how's it going, man? How's isolation been going, bro?
SubhanAllah, we're going through some really unprecedented times. You know, you think to yourself, who would have ever lived, who would have ever thought that you would actually live through such times? And to be honest, I think it's important that, while in isolation, while going through whatever we're going through, we try our best to draw as many pearls of wisdom, as many benefits. And it's a chance for us to look in the mirror as well, subhanAllah, man. And I think it's important, especially as Muslims, that we also try to, apply our religion into what is happening at the moment. And that's where we can find, inshallah, solace. And that's where we can draw the most benefits, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, bro. What about yourself?
I think there was a bit of a issue. We had your mic muted, but alhamdulillah, you're back on now. It's nice we're doing this live stream because we're able to also like view people's messages and comments at the same time. So what we'll do, if there's any questions for you, we'll kind of throw them out to you if the people have any. But yeah, alhamdulillah, bro, isolation's going all right for me. I've set myself up at home as much as possible, kind of just taken over my bedroom as like a studio. And
I can see, mashallah. Yeah, mashallah. See,
man.
mashallah. It's good. It's good.
Bro? I want to be able to utilize the time, and I think this, because it's an unprecedented time, I think there's a lot of benefit we can take from guests like yourself. Yesterday we had on a doctor who's working in the NHS frontline, and he even, not only is he a doctor, but he had coronavirus himself 2 weeks ago.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So we're just waiting to get that footage of him, inshallah, and we're going to kind of put that episode together. So maybe that'll be out tomorrow, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. But alhamdulillah, not going too bad. How's business, man? Because I know your business is very, very, very kind of like physical, in the sense that people come in for appointments and for the hijama. I imagine that it's kind of taking a toll on that.
I mean, currently at the moment, I haven't been able to see my clients. I haven't been working for a month now. But alhamdulillah, you know what? I find solace in whatever is written for myself. Alhamdulillah will come to me, and I think there is much more at stake. Whatever your opinion is in relation to COVID-19, I believe, akhi, COVID-19 is subhanallah. It's real. It's taking people's lives, and that is, that for me, I would rather be safe and prioritize the health of my clients than think about the monetary gain, because I didn't start hijama or sports therapy or rehabilitation in the first place to just for wealth. Yes, it's a means to live in, but the main purpose isn't to kind of quote unquote become a millionaire through hijama. But akhi, for me personally, I think it's despite social media, we see the dangers of it when a lot of things are flying around, a lot of mashallah conspiracies, and regardless, akhi, obviously, I don't want to get too much. I don't want to delve too much into it. Regardless of the conspiracies, akhi, people are still dying, and there's a lot of crazy. Okay, I think yesterday my family showed me there was a nurse, and she put something up on her Instagram saying, how is it that people are accusing doctors of wanting to take people's lives, and and to be honest, it's quite sad to see mashallah some Muslims, whatever your opinion is, regardless. However, people are dying, akhi, and this is the reality. And I think it should be taken seriously, regardless. And it shows, subhanallah, a level of complacency and irresponsibility on our behalf. Even say, for example, you can believe whatever you can believe in, but people are still losing their life, akhi. People are still losing lives. 700 people dying. You know what? Now, obviously, because me personally, I'm someone who always loves to keep up to date with current affairs. And obviously, every day you see, for us, it can be just, it's important not to become desensitized. Every day you see 800 people dying, 700. Yesterday, I think it was 780 something. Behind that number is a person, and behind that person is a family. My father lost one of his friends to COVID-19, and for someone, akhi, to say conspiracy A, B, and C is quite disrespectful and very insensitive to those families that are losing their loved ones, regardless of what you think, akhi. And in reality, you as Muslims, first and foremost, we have to act responsibly, and we have to act in a manner that is befitting to the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And akhi, people are losing lives. Like, don't ever get it twisted. Whatever the reason is, whatever your mashallah conspiracy is, people are still losing lives. And akhi, to be honest, I kind of find it very disrespectful that people are, what, akhi, your opinion is your opinion. Like, that's you, innit? That's, respect whatever opinion that you're on. But for you to blase and audaciously kind of put yourself out there on social media and put certain things out, I think, akhi, personally, is very disrespectful. And like I said to you, akhi, my father's friend, perfectly fine. He used to play football with my dad every week. Subhanallah, listen to this story. He actually got the virus from his daughter who was attending school, and his daughter, subhanallah, as we know, there's a certain age category that it doesn't affect because the virus doesn't latch onto the lungs for various reasons. But he actually contracted it, and subhanallah, he passed away. And you could imagine how his daughter would feel, and how do you think his daughter would live, knowing that she was obviously qaddar Allah, akhi. And that's another thing that COVID-19 has brought to life, akhi. I personally have looked myself in the mirror and seen a lot of things, akhi. There's one thing of being a theoretical Muslim, or a book Muslim, a book version Muslim, and there's another thing of being practically Muslim. Many things that I've had to kind of adjust to is, first and foremost, being content with the qadr of Allah. Being content with the as Muslims, we believe in predestiny. So being content with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed. Because who allowed coronavirus to happen? Regardless, nothing happens, the sun, before it rises, it has to ask the permission of Allah, and Allah allows it. So anything, that happens on this earth and in this universe does not happen without the go ahead, without the permission of Allah, regardless of what it is and who is behind it. Do you understand? Allah allows it. Allah gives it the permission. You understand what I'm trying to say, Faisal? So
No, 100%.
So these things, as Muslims, we have to and you know what is, for me, it's kind of really, really brought to light that as Muslims, we need to question our aqidah. We need to go back to the drawing board and see, is our aqidah how it should be as Muslims? Do we believe in the destiny of Allah? Do we believe in the predestiny? Do we believe in that nothing shall touch us without the permission of Allah? And also, another thing is taking precautions. We all know that, and I think we spoke about this in the previous podcast, where a lot of people are like, but whatever's written is going to happen, and astaghfirullah, use profane language like, against the coronavirus, say, مثلا this, cursing coronavirus. And the reality is, bro, like, this is from Allah. Do you understand?
Well, I agreed. But one of the things that you have always pushed, and even when we first met, you pushed it a lot to me, is the idea of keeping your immune system up generally. And there's no doubt that person who does generally have a strong immune system, it's only going to benefit them, especially with the coronavirus as well. And this is something that you pushed ever since I've known you, especially through natural means and through like holistic medication and stuff like that. So we've actually got some questions that have popped up on YouTube. So I'm going to try and add them to the screen now. So we got this question that says, Assalamu alaikum, what common bad food should be cut out of the diet? Because this sister has heard you speak about processed food before, and she's saying, is that like bread? Because she wants to start eating healthy.
Okay, so as we said, that we have to take our precautions, and Islam encourages us to take our al-akhdhu bil asbab, that taking our precautions. And we know this is not something that is, yes, there is a difference amongst scholars whether they say that this is a plague, or what we do know, it's a pandemic. Yes, there is some difference of opinions amongst the ulama, amongst the scholars, that say, is it a plague, is it not a plague? But to be honest, right now we're talking about al-akhdhu bil asbab, and this happened before, in the time of Umar radiyallahu anhu. There was a plague that broke out in Syria, and he subhanallah, what's crazy is that we draw so many lessons from the leadership of Umar radiyallahu anhu, a great sahabi and a great leader and a great role model, where imagine, subhanallah, a plague broke out in his time, and he wanted to go. A leader is someone who suffers with the people, and subhanallah, we've managed to see so many examples in the Muslim world where some leaders have prioritized the health of their nation over the economy, and we see that, so for example, in Morocco, that was the case where literally everything was like, Morocco has been on lockdown for at least more than a month, despite the economical detriment that it will cause the country. And as you know, tourism is very, very crucial to Morocco. And however, despite this, there has been no airplanes in or out. Why? Because the health of the people are more important than the economical gains. And everyone is suffering. I'm suffering, but for me, it's not about me. I'm just trying to shed light on, because everyone is suffering, and how do we find solace and comfort from our deen? But regardless, Umar radiallahu anhu, he went to Syria and he found a plague, so he wanted to go to the people to see what's going on. So when he kind of stood at the gates, you could say the quarantine gates, he as a true leader would, he kind of sought counsel from his advisors, and he said to them, like, what should we do? Should we go into the city? Should we not? I want to take care of my people. I'm concerned about them. And many of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they kind of said, what, we wouldn't advise you to go in. The majority of them said that we wouldn't advise you to go into the city, because what if you're the leader and everybody looks to you, you contract the virus or the plague and you die, and what if you take it back to Medina, which was the capital of the state at the time, and the capital will fall, and if the capital falls, this will be a threat to the ummah. So he sought shura and he said, you know what, it's right, I'm not going to go. And I think it was Ubaidah, one of the Sahaba, said that, Ya Umar, oh Umar, are you running away from the qadr of Allah? So Umar looked at him and he said, if only it was somebody else other than you that said this. However, we are running away from the qadr of Allah to the qadr of Allah. So this is including the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this shows you that it's important to kind of take the precautions. And now coming back, and likewise, how we take precautions is strengthening our immune system. Back to go into your question, Faisal, which is the immune system. Sorry, I know I had to kind of do a detour, but I wanted to, it's because a lot of people, they kind of say...
It's good.
A lot of people just say, you know what, qadar Allah in it, you know what, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do my thing, I'm going to carry on, I'm going to go back to work, I'm going to mix with people, whatever's meant to hit me will hit me. And that's not the mindset that we should take.
No, I agree. And I love that reminder that you gave. Do you know what it is? I know that in having to keep these episodes short, I want to gain the most benefit from you. And although we've had a lot of guests who have spoken about the coronavirus, we haven't had someone who is as knowledgeable as you with regards to the diet, to the nutrition, and to the immune system. And so we're getting a lot of questions about those, and I want to get them questions to you, inshallah. So
okay, cool.
Let me just remind myself of that sister's question. So she asked about the immune system. So we're talking about the immune system here and
the immune system, yeah.
And so just to quickly go to her question, because I've got a few other questions for you that people are asking as well. What processed food should she stay away from? What is processed foods?
Okay, so first and foremost, the immune system is the first line of defense, which fights against any alien aspect that is entering the body, whether it's a virus, whether it's bacteria. That is the first line of defense. And your immune system is made up of, you have your T cells, your B cells. 75 to 80% of the immune system is located in the gut. Now, it's important. A lot of people, what I think, one of the benefits that will come out of this virus is that people will start to take their health more seriously. And the immune system it's something that is built over time. Yes, it's important that obviously now what you find now is a lot of people are rushing and I need to change my diet. What have I been doing all this time? And I need to take things that are going to enhance my immune system. Now, an immune system or optimal health is built over time, something that needs to be built on a strong foundation. It's important that we try our best to limit the foods or certain things that will allow our immune system to become weak. Now, the quality, say for example, we have to try our best to limit the inflammation, the chronic inflammation. So if our chronic inflammation our immune system is like an alarm. So every time the alarm is set, the immune system is compromised. So we have to limit the amount of chronic inflammation that is triggered in our body. We have to limit the amount of processed foods. We have to limit the amount of sugars that we take. Now, processed food, generally speaking, is something that is, you could say, produced in a factory, generally speaking, or tampered with, that has had human intervention. Yeah. Say for example, processed food would be cakes, would be anything nuggets. Generally chicken nuggets, anything that, like I said, anything that has had human intervention, anything that is not from the earth, anything that has been tampered with. This is, in reality, akhi, what you want to do when you look at the back of anything that you do buy, you don't want to find more than 2 ingredients. Yeah, you don't want to find that there's been you don't want to find that there's been a lot of chemicals that added to the actual food, or certain things that have been put inside the food.
That's so normal to see. It's very rare, in fact, to see something that you pick up that would have less than 3 ingredients, unless, like you say, you're making it at home. We got another question that just popped up on the screen, and it says, "Would you please ask the brother if black seed oil is safe to take daily for pregnant women, and how much should be taken daily, and also is it a cure for coronavirus?"
Now, to make certain claims, especially related to coronavirus, is very, very dangerous. What you have to understand is that, again, we're going to take it back to basics. Your immune system is your first line of defense. Let's always take it back to basics. We cannot say black seed oil is a cure for coronavirus, because that's not the reality. What is the reality is that the stronger your immune system, the more healthier you are, the better your body is able to fight that virus. The more equipped your body is able to fight the virus, because your body, your immune system fights every single day against cancerous cells, because every day, afanallah wa iyyakum, may Allah protect us, our body produces cancerous cells. What destroys it is the immune system. The immune system is your first line, is your weapon, is your defense. So, like I said, studies have come out to say that people now, when we look at studies and when you look at, especially related to coronavirus, we can see that people whose immune system, who are immunosuppressed, those are the type of people that find it hard to recover from COVID-19. And sadly and unfortunately, those are the ones who are, either pass away from coronavirus because their immune system is suppressed or weakened. Whether they suffer from obesity, whether they have diabetes, whether they have say for example, whether they're suffering from chronic illnesses, terminal illnesses. So you see, these all have one thing in common, that their immune system is suppressed. So we can see, and say for example, there was a case of a young brother. I think he was 13 years of age. Rahimahullah, he passed away. Many of us, bro, the reality is many of us have underlying health issues, but it's only when our body is challenged that these things come to light. So many people will die because, say for example, the COVID-19 virus has such an effect that their immune system shuts down, but they didn't know that they already had many underlying health issues. It's only the fact that because they were tested, unfortunately, their body wasn't able to cope with it. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Because many of us walk around not knowing that our body is immunosuppressed. Because, like I said, we don't take care of our bodies. And black seed oil, in relation to black seed oil, Habbatus Sauda has a phytochemical which is known as thymoquinine. Thymoquinine is the phytochemical that helps to enhance the immune system. It helps to make the immune system much more stronger, increase white cell. There has been certain studies on whites with rats to show that when they use the phytochemical thymoquinine, which is derived from black seed oil, or commonly known as Nigella sativa, it is shown that the rats, their immune system was strengthened and their white cell activity was enhanced. So we can see
this
that.
person just asked. After you just finished the point, the person just asked how to incorporate the black seed into their diet. So sorry, bro, to interrupt.
No problem. So
lose that point.
No, that's okay. So generally speaking, you can use it. So for example, I personally use it every morning on an empty stomach. I use half a teaspoon. I prefer the oil. I do prefer to take the oil because I feel that it's absorbed much more quicker into my bloodstream. Unfortunately, with the seeds, there is a lot of argument and a lot of people how is it, brother, that you're recommending the oil? The hadith clearly states the seed. However, we can use qiyas in the sense that where does the oil come from? The oil is derived from the seed. And I'm talking in my personal opinion, and the many years that I have used and have recommended the black seed oil to my patients, I find on myself that it absorbs much more quickly into the bloodstream, and I'm able to benefit from it much more than methylene if I ingest it through the seeds. Because you have to understand, sometimes the body doesn't absorb the seeds as it passes down and through the digestive tract and into your stools. It's not absorbed via your digestive system. It just passes straight through your gut, and when you go to the toilet, it will just basically pass down into the toilet. But then again, this is my experience with the Habbatus Sauda.
I know we're kind of talking about diet here and stuff. We just got some comments of people kind of mentioning that also sleep. How important is sleep for the immune system?
Sleep is the most crucial factor, especially when it comes to the body. Most of the body's healing happens during sleep. And there's been a lot of studies indicating lack of sleep, the lack of sleep. If, say, for example, this is a persistent habit that happens, to occur throughout your life, you're more susceptible to many chronic illnesses. And there's been many studies, and you can find them in many health journals. If your sleep is not of a good nature, on a high quality, you're more susceptible to diabetes, you're more susceptible to depression. And that's something that we can see, especially with the current climax where people, it's hard, and it does. And this is why we also have to take care of our mental health. Or maybe we can talk about that after the questions, because that is also related. The more stress, and this is something that is, brothers and sisters and friends, it's very, very important that you try to limit your stress. The more stressed you are, the higher your cortisol levels are. The higher your cortisol levels, the more immunosuppressed you become, because fear drives your cortisol levels up. And when your cortisol levels are up, your immune system is compromised.
Barakallahu feek. Next question is asking with regards to fasting. Obviously Ramadan is in about 3 or 4 days, inshallah. What food would you recommend in Ramadan for suhoor and iftar, and when is it best to work out during the fasting day? Let's focus on the nutrition and food questions, bro, just because we've got quite a few questions to go through. So cool. Yeah, I'm assuming, obviously, I remember around last year we did an episode around Ramadan, and you obviously mentioned the obvious, which is to avoid fried stuff and oil. But other than that, what can a person eat? What's proactive in terms of iftar and suhoor?
Okay, so the question is very, very, very important and relevant, especially with Ramadan being a few days away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to see Ramadan. It's very, very important that you use, like, brothers and sisters, and maybe even some non-Muslims who want to fast. It's an amazing process that one should take benefit of. Now, brothers and sisters, those who want to lose weight, those who want to enhance, those who want to achieve optimal health, now is the time to grab this opportunity with both hands. And we all know that fasting is an amazing tool. Fasting, there have been studies to show that just 3 days of fasting in a month has shown and has been proven to help enhance your immune system, and help also, guys. Fasting is very, very important and improves and helps with autophagy. And this helps with slowing down the aging process. Many people want to look young. Many people want to look healthy. SubhanAllah, look at that, an amazing therapy, an amazing medicine that Allah has blessed us with. Siyam, fasting. Yes, we know that it is an act of ibadah, but you can also multiply your intentions. You can have more than one intention. And there is many, obviously the hadith, sumu tasihhu, is a weak hadith, but the meaning is 100% correct. Many studies have shown that the more a person does take part in fasting, the more they slow down the aging process, i.e. improve autophagy. Now, when it comes to suhoor and iftar, mashallah, Sheikh Faisal. Okay, so iftar, okay, when it comes to Ramadan, like, say for example, when it comes to Ramadan, I try my best to kind of optimize the cleansing process of the body. So I try my best to kind of reduce my weight. So depending on your goals, depending on your goals and your how you want to kind of how you want your body to be at the end of Ramadan. Me personally, I like to kind of use Ramadan to help me to lose weight, to help me to introduce healthy habits. In Ramadan, for iftar, I would normally break my fast. Imagine you've been fasting for, 18 hours, 19 hours. So your stomach is going to be as we fast, the stomach shrinks. Yeah. So it's very, very important that you break your fast correctly. When you break the fast, don't shock the body. Imagine, subhanAllah, your body has had no food for 18 hours plus. Yeah. And after there's been many studies to show that after the 12-hour period of fasting, your body goes into a fat burning. Your body becomes a fat burner. Your body starts to break down fat. It starts to go into. So once it uses up those glycogen reserves, your body starts to go into the fat, to burn the fat. So fasting is very, very good for burning fat. Now coming back to iftar. Sorry, I just want to. There's so many things actually that I feel that I want to kind of really share with the viewers, but also stick to the question being answered. So please excuse me, Akhi, if I do, go sidetrack a bit. Yeah, please forgive me.
I'll be here to bring you back.
I know. Please forgive me, Faisal. I know.
No,
Please,
no,
Akhi,
no.
because سامحني, bro. So say for example, now breaking the fast, as we said, the body, it does require that when you do break the fast, you break it in a correct manner. Now, generally speaking, I would break the fast with water. Yeah. As we fast, the body emits all those toxins. So our body is in a cleanse mode. Yeah, when we fast, the body cleanses itself. So as we fast, the body releases toxins into the bloodstream. Now, how we flush away those toxins? How are we going to flush those toxins away? People, please tell me. It's important that we break our fast with water. Yeah, when we drink water, we're going to flush those toxins out of the body. Now, when you come to break your fast, please don't spike up your insulin, because imagine your insulin levels are going to be low because you haven't had nothing to eat for a long period of time.
So what would spike them? Would it be sugar?
It would be sugar. However, it was, so you have to understand your liver is going to be like a springboard, especially the insulin is ready, like your body is ready. It's going to be like a springboard. So when you do that, have one day, have half a day. Yeah. Have half a day, one day. Don't have 3 dates. If you are going to have 3 dates, as maybe, it's Sunnah, 3 dates, 5 dates, 7 dates. Khalas, just have dates. Don't have 12 dates, 11 dates. And then after that, you go pray and you're going to have biryani and you're going to have couscous
Samosa.
and you're going to have some, I don't know, some beans and rice and some. No. Look, you have to pick. You have to be consistent. If you're gonna have loads of dates, stick to us, because you don't want to spike your insulin levels up. You want to try your best to take hold of these health gains, especially throughout the month of Ramadan. So like I said, have a nice. Don't have too much water because you don't want to fill your stomach with a lot of water, because you do want to still eat and digest. So generally speaking, I'd have a little bit of water. I'd have some dates, or I would have, say for example, watermelon, a little bit of watermelon. I would go to pray. I would come back, and say for example, I would have a meal. Now this meal generally.
How big is this meal that we're talking?
It's not, generally speaking, Akhi, like I said, because I want to lose weight, I want to be in a calorie deficit. Yeah. So I would want to be in a calorie deficit. So I'll probably have a little, I don't want to put it in numbers because, like I said, everyone is different. I'll probably have a small portion of protein. I will include my macros, because you have to understand what is optimal health. Akhi. Optimal health is allowing your body to function in a state of balance. Your body has to be in a balance. Say for example, I want to try my best to intake all those micro and macronutrients through my meal, through my food. It's very, very important that a lot of people ask for supplements. We get a lot of questions. What supplements do I have to take? No, guys, try your best to get your micro and your macronutrients through your food. If you are going to consume carbs, make sure that these carbs are complex carbs. Yeah, sweet potato, or some people, depending. Some people say, they're starchy. Me personally, like I said, I will limit my carbs. I will limit my carbs. I won't overload on carbs. I'll have some protein, good quality chicken, say maybe some wild salmon. Guys, salad. Make sure that you're having a lot of salad. You need salad. Salad is very, very important, high in magnesium. Very, very important to anything green. As we know, that will help with your digestion. That will help with your magnesium. It will help with your subhanallah. It's very, very important that you try your best to make your food, balanced. Vegetables, salads. Try not to overeat. A lot of people tend to overeat and binge. That's the worst thing that you could do. Because, like I said, you don't want to overeat and then have no energy for ibadah. Because you have to think about, obviously, just because we're not going to go to the masjid for Taraweeh doesn't mean that our ibadah suffers. And it's a perfect time. It's a perfect time. In terms of, like I said, the iftar, so I would have a bit of protein, a bit of fruit and veg, a bit of vegetables, a bit of salad, a small portion of maybe quinoa, a little bit of sweet potato, depending. I'll change it up every day. And then actually, that's that.
Between that iftar meal that you're having and suhoor, are you snacking at all, or even having another meal, or is that you got an iftar meal and then you got suhoor? And also, what is it that is the kind of best and most wholesome thing that you can have for suhoor, so that you can kind of stretch your energy out for the day?
For suhoor, I would personally recommend, you can, okay, for iftar, you could also have smoothies. Smoothies are very, very good. Fresh fruits, soups. Bone broth is a superfood. You could incorporate that into your diet, because bro, a lot of people that say, for example, مثلا do bodybuilding, or they look, and I'm not generalizing, I'm not saying every bodybuilder, or a lot of them look good, they look nice, six pack, this, that. This is nice, and this if you want that, that's why not. But at the same time, your outward appearance should mirror your inward. Do you understand? Like, okay.
Sorry, I'm laughing because someone just posted a comment, and I think it's from the first episode that you did with us, when you said, Akhi, why are you eating carbs in the afternoon, Habibi? I think we was talking about eating curries and stuff, and you were saying,
when I say carbs, Akhi, look, you have to understand, you have been fasting the whole day. In my first,
for people to have like lots of rice, even in your culture, in our culture, the Somali culture, the Afghan culture, rice is a big deal. So what are we talking? Like, is that good? Is that bad? Should we stick to brown rice?
No. Look, as long as these are, I obviously, first and foremost, I would always recommend slow releasing carbs. Yeah. If you are going to take simple carbs such as rice, you would take them, for me personally, I would take them before a workout to provide me with instant energy. So it depends say, for example, if you're exercising, it depends whether you're exercising after iftar, or you're exercising before iftar. It all depends, Akhi, because you have to understand that carbs. Everyone looks at carbs as, don't have carbs. Carbs are bad. No, try to incorporate carbs, but make sure that these carbs are slow release. And if they are going to be, say for example, instant energy, try your best to kind of do have them, and then maybe go for exercise 3 hours after you break, because you have to understand, you don't want to exercise straight away after iftar, because the body is using the blood to digest the food.
What's an example of slow releasing carbs that you can have for iftar? Because I know when you say slow releasing carbs, the first thing that comes to my mind is porridge, and that's why I'm assuming that you would say that porridge is good to have. In terms of iftar time,
you have porridge, you have oats, you have sweet potato.
You were mentioning like sweet potato and stuff.
Sweet potato, yes, okay. Yeah.
Fine. Okay. Should we move on to the let's see where we're at with questions.
And also, Faisal, make sure that we have to also make sure that our meals are small, are small portioned. Yeah, small portions are important.
How small are we talking? What's a small portion?
It depends, actually. It depends on the individual. It depends on their size. It depends on their build. It can't be it's not all size fits all, because you don't want to be feeling sick while you're doing your ibadah.
You know what I found is that if you have a smaller plate, it makes a massive difference, because when you eat on a smaller plate, your portion is smaller. And I don't practice that anymore. But do you know what? Straight after this episode, when I eat my lunch, inshallah, and even when I do dinner tonight, from now on, I'm going to eat on a smaller plate, because I remember that really helping me with that. Okay, so this question says, what about apple cider vinegar during Ramadan?
Look, okay, I'll answer that question. But like I said, because I want to emphasize on what I've just said as well. You know how I said that your body is going to be insulin, so for example, it's going to be like a springboard, because your insulin's ready to kind of shoot up.
Yeah.
The reason why a lot of us experience those crashes is because we overeat and we shock the liver. You understand? So then a lot of our insulin levels shoot up, and then when you have that high, you get that crash, that low again. So this is why it's important not to overeat. Now, in terms of what was the question that you just asked?
So common is you get that feeling.
But why? We have to ask ourselves why. That's why we say don't overeat. That's why it's don't. What did you ask just now? Sorry, bro.
It was apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Actually, you can incorporate it, but it's not an issue. But obviously, like I said, just because something is good for you, don't start pouring it in gallons. Just just a tablespoon, a teaspoon. Do you understand? Because with apple cider vinegar, some people, they might have certain stomach conditions. They might have an ulcer in their stomach. So, for example, sometimes when some individuals, they might consume apple cider vinegar and have a certain burn, they might feel a certain burn compared to somebody else. That could indicate that you probably have a stomach ulcer. You have to understand, guys, everybody and every case is different. That's why I say a lot of people ask me many generic questions, and I have to say to them, look, I can't really help you because I need to sit down with you. I need to, like, that's what we do with our clients, especially in the clinic where we do consultations. Yes, we're not nutritionists, but alhamdulillah, through our experience, I can advise my patients. Everything in moderation.
What's nice is just to know what you do, because like you said, fair enough, if it's not one size fits all, but it's interesting to see what you do, because generally I know how conscious you are of your health, and you're not kind of extreme on either end of like being, on a purely what is it called? What's that diet called?
Flexitarian.
Like you're not like purely keto for like the whole year round, but then at the same time you're not eating junk all the time. But then I know that when we go out, sometimes you if we're all eating and you'll indulge in something that you wouldn't normally indulge in, stuff like that. So I think that balance is nice to see, and so I think it's interesting to see what you do. So one question here, which has been asked quite a lot, so I'll ask it now, is oh gosh, so many people asking this. Okay, it's about exercise. Again, I remember you said some people exercise before working out. Some people exercise before iftar and some after iftar. But what do you do?
I work out before iftar because I'm in a fasted state, because my body is in a fasted state. Yeah, there are many. Look, when we come to certain things, there's always going to be, like, how in our religion we have difference of opinion. This is this. Likewise, in the world of health, in the world of, I'm sure we experience it. There's so many schools of there's so many methodologies, many different schools of thoughts. The keto school, the vegan school, the intermittent fasting school. We have to understand balance is very, very important, and this is what I take. This is me personally, and it's about the quality of the food. You understand? And not and one diet. Some people, keto might be good for them. Some people, a vegan diet might be good for them. It all depends, akhi. Different. And say, for example, certain people might be suffering from many diseases where they are only able to consume, where they are only able to have a vegan diet. So we have to get something put in our head that it's not a one size fits all. We have to understand that people come with genetics. A lot of people, genetics does have a role to play. I'm a firm believer of this. And we have to understand, just because we have certain genetic predispositions, we shouldn't also, because there's another balance, there's another extreme, that we shouldn't allow it to kind of be the excuse for our failures in relation to our health. And there's a famous saying where the genetics is the trigger and lifestyle. Genetics is the gun and lifestyle is the trigger. Do you understand? So we should always keep this in mind. In terms of exercising, I prefer to exercise in a fasted state. And this is because I like to exercise when my stomach is empty. And this is just me. Maybe if somebody wants to, maybe you could do a little bit of cardio before breaking the fast. If you do want to do weights and you want to maybe have a bit of energy, maybe you could have iftar, and maybe after salah, after your isha and your witr, maybe you want to do a bit of body weights, a bit of press ups, a bit of chin ups, a bit of muscle ups, a bit of kettlebells, a bit of weights. Why not? Because now you've eaten, you consumed your carbs, your carbs, your fuel. You're gonna have an energy reserve to exert, to help you with those exercises, because obviously maybe lifting weights requires much more energy and instant as well.
So back to the question about suhoor. We got a few more pop up about suhoor. I know you mentioned porridge as one good thing to have for suhoor. What else is kind of on the no list, and what is on the yes list for suhoor? Should I tell you what I was thinking about suhoor?
Yeah, go on then.
I was thinking that of having an omelette.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Why not? Me personally, I would advise, like I said, get your slow release carbs in, and also protein. Studies have shown that proteins keep you fuller for much longer. Yeah, that's why it's important to incorporate protein. Maybe protein for suhoor. I find
Like
personally that helps
lentils.
me. That helps me throughout the day. So why not? Akhi, look again. If you're gonna make an omelette, try your best to get yourself free range eggs. If you can get yourself farmed eggs, akhi, why not? Eggs. They're a superfood. Why not, bro?
Okay. All right, let's keep going. People asking about. So, okay, this is actually quite a good question. Someone's asked about. In my culture, there's a big thing of having what we call a fruit jart, which is basically a mixture of fruit in a bowl. Obviously, that sounds to me like a great thing. Would like to get your opinion on it though, because I imagine there's a huge spike of insulin in that. So, what do you think? Opening your fast and the custom is have like a bowl of kind of mixed fruit.
In terms of fruit, akhi, look, again, everything in moderation. If you are gonna have fruit, make sure that you stick to fruits. You don't want like watermelon, akhi. Watermelon is it's very, especially in the summer. Obviously, things are getting warmer. The temperature's getting nice and warm. Very hydrating, very beneficial for us. Akhi, watermelon, berries are very, very high in antioxidants. You want to have certain things again that are not going to spike your insulin levels. If you are going to have fruit bowl, if you are going to have fruits, try your best not to have fruits and this and that. Try your best not to have a cocktail. If you are going to have fruits, have fruits. If you're going to leave a gap between that meal, because you have to understand it. Actually, even that fruit bowl, it could consist of a meal. Do you understand? And it all depends. It all goes back to the person's. Look, like I can't. It's very, very difficult to give an answer to certain questions, and I want people to know that. Not because, say, for example, like it's different for every person. It depends on your goals. It depends. Okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to maintain your weight? Do you want to put on weight? It all depends, akhi. In terms of fruits, akhi, try your best not to look balance in everything. Don't overindulge in certain things. Just because it's fruits, akhi. Just because, okay, yes, fruits are healthy. There's this huge debate of fructose. Is the sugar that is found in fruit, is it bad? To be honest, the liver, when we do consume fruits, the body is able to break it down. The liver, it goes straight to the liver rather than, depending on certain studies that you do read, if you do have processed sugar, it goes straight to the gut.
Jazakallah khair, bro. We're gonna try and round the episode up. But before we do, there was a question earlier on that I'm going to try and find, because I know that you wanted to speak about this at the same time as well. So why not answer the question that referred to it? So let me just have a look. Let's have a look. There's been too many comments, alhamdulillah, so it's going to be a hard one to find it. But it was about, the fact that we're in isolation and mental health. I know you want to touch on mental health, so let's end the discussion on that, inshallah.
Okay, so a lot of people akhi, are going to be laid off work, and that's what I wanted to talk about. First and foremost, some people akhi, they're going to be paid. Like you asked me in the beginning, how's work? Akhi, the reality is I haven't worked. Do you understand? And as you know, when it comes to self-employed people, yeah, there have been certain schemes. But regardless, I don't think it's going to do much. But alhamdulillah, that's not the problem here. We always have to remember that we have to try to be practical Muslims. Yeah, many of us, I personally believe, I've tried my best to maybe improve my tawakkul, my reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Try not to kind of out of my rush, out of my impatience, I want to open shop and start seeing clients again. So I have to practice a level of self-restraint and sabr, and know and tell myself that, you know what, I just need to relax a little bit. I just need to, where's my trust in Allah, because we've also in that time we've used to work on our content to benefit people, because that's why Sunnah Remedies is there. It's important that we play that role, and also to be content. that's another thing. Ali radiallahu anh was asked about having taqwa. Many of us here, we think that piety, being pious or trying to be pious, is acquiring a large amount of knowledge. But ra'sul ilm, that the head of knowledge, or the primary source of knowledge, is being God conscious. Yeah, because many of us, akhi, we know so much knowledge. MashaAllah, he's memorized this book and that book, but there is a lack of taqwa. And taqwa is also, yes, taqwa is good God consciousness. But when Ali radiallahu anhu was asked what is taqwa, is subhanAllah, this is a profound statement of Ali radiallahu anhu, which I always when I can read it over and over again, and it blows my mind the way it says. At-taqwa, that God consciousness, is ar-ridha bil-qalil. Now, many of us have looked in the mirror and said, you know what? I can actually live without the comforts that I used to enjoy outside lockdown or isolation. And many of us have learned to do with the more simple things in life. And many of us have tried to always kind of remind ourselves, look, I have to be content. And he said, radiallahu, he said, ar-ridha bil-qalil, that being content with whatever little that you have. Ar-ridha bil-qalil. Wal-amalu bit-tanzil, that doing whatever Allah has prescribed for me. Now, Allah has told me that when there is a calamity, I should be patient. Therefore, I should observe patience. Therefore, and patience, akhi, is observed with the heart. I'm not going to say to you guys that it's easy. It's hard. It's been hard for me. And it's okay. It's okay to find it hard. It's okay to reach out to especially us guys. We find it very, very hard to open up to maybe you have your wife, maybe you have your friends that you want to open up to. Guys, if you are going through hard times, and everybody's in the same boat. Yeah, people might be on different levels, but we're all in the same category. Open up to people, like talk to people. I've been going through hard times as well, but again, I have to make myself strong. This is tarbiyah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is strengthening our backbone. Are we being practical? So Ali, he said, ar-ridha bil-qalil wal-amalu bit-tanzil wal-isti'dad li-yawm al-rahil, and to prepare ourselves for the day that we are going to leave this world. Look, guys, this pandemic has taken so many lives. People are passing away every day. So it's we have to always bring ourselves into the picture where we have to reevaluate and assess our situation, that guys, one day that we're going to leave, yes, we want to leave a legacy, yes, we want to benefit people, yes, we want to enjoy certain things in the dunya which is not haram, yes, we want to achieve certain career goals, yes, we want to achieve certain amount of wealth, whatever it may be, which is not haram, as long as it's acquired in a halal way. But guys, try to achieve a certain level of zuhd. And zuhd, guys, when I say zuhd, detaching yourself from the dunya. I don't know, there's a word for minimalism, yeah? Being a minimalist. Now, being a zahid or being a minimalist is very, very different to how the West or certain parts of the Western world view it. Yeah, not everybody, certain individuals, yeah, because there's been many, many documentaries of Netflix talking about minimalism. And to be a zahid or to be a minimalist doesn't necessarily mean that you don't wear nice clothes. Doesn't necessarily, it's a big move now, especially in the West, detaching yourself from worldly gains. Doesn't necessarily mean that you don't wear nice clothes, that you don't, want to achieve the good things in life, a nice car, a nice business, because these things are also needed. And if it's written for you, then it's a test for you as well, that you have to do what's good by that wealth that you have acquired. So somebody, guys, listen to this. Somebody can be a minimalist, and he can be like, if you look at him, he could wear the most poor, like he could wear the most raggedy of clothes. But somebody can be a minimalist, a zahid, and he could look the most nicest. He could look nice, look the most nicest. He could look nice. He could wear the latest brands. He could look presentable. He could have an expensive watch, but he lives according to his means. He's tidy. So many people confuse zuhd with looking like a tramp.
Right.
Even though you've got the wealth, even though the person but his heart. Look, the main thing when it comes to zuhd is that your heart is not attached to the worldly things. Do you understand? Your heart is not attached to those worldly things, that you're able to let go of them. Being detached from those worldly things, and like say for example, everyone is enduring certain losses. Being able to kind of let go of those certain things, because again, whatever is written for you after you've done the asbab is going to come to you. So taking care, that's how you take care of your health. That's your mental health.
Bro, that what you just mentioned, I'm gonna try and say it back to you, so I know that it's implemented in my mind. But that taqwa is having, I might not get it in the right order, but it's having contentment with the little that you have. If you have little, for example, it's being. So the last one was like essentially like being a minimalist, in the sense that not attaching your heart to the worldly stuff. And the second one you mentioned in the middle of the two was
العمل بالتنزيل.
No. And preparing for the day of judgment. Oh, that was part of the third one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then the second one, what did you say? العمل بالتنزيل.
تنزيل. العمل بالتنزيل,
بالتنزيل.
i.e. the Quran and the Sunnah, like listening to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us
Fine.
to do. Yeah, and the last one, al-isti'dad ليوم الرحيل, that preparing for the day that you will leave this world, as we will all leave this world. And that's the only thing that's guaranteed, bro. That's the reality. That's the only thing that is guaranteed is your death.
True.
But however, that should drive you. That should drive you to do a lot of good. It should be the driving factor in a lot of your life. As
Definitely,
in,
definitely.
don't see it as something negative. Obviously, we know the famous. You know what's mad, akhi? I like to take every evening. I like to take walks. So, say for example, or a jog. I'll jog for a certain amount of miles, and I'll walk the rest back home. So, in those kind of, I like to, and that's important. Allowing yourself to, giving yourself your own space and allowing to think. So, what's crazy, akhi? SubhanAllah, back in the days, obviously when people used to listen, obviously we know that music is haram, and there was a line that I used to hear back in the day, a long time ago, yeah. And this line, and how I'm gonna relate it to our religion is crazy, yeah, because it relates to our times, yeah. That there's a bar, I think, if maybe a famous rapper used to say, where he says that when, and I'm gonna, it's an analogy, yeah. When مثلا gangsters get shot, they become religious, yeah. And likewise, certain things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might allow us to go through to humble us in life, yeah. Now, I remember the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yeah. Like, we know that these times are hard, yeah. So, say for example, when someone thinks, it doesn't have to be a gangster in that sense. It could be someone who is arrogant, who thinks they're all that. It could be someone who is very, very proud. He looks down upon people. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is the best analogy to draw, is he said that know Allah in times of ease, and Allah will know you, or Allah will remember you in times of hardship. Do you understand? اعرف اعرف الله سبحانه know Allah in times of ease. So for example, like before this crisis, before this lockdown, many of us, when things were good, people were enjoying themselves, many health, of us,
you never thought about your health.
Yeah, now like people used to think that they're self-sufficient, that they're the ones. The reality is that you're nothing.
Yeah.
The reality that this small virus came and shut down the whole world. And we have to try our best to humble ourselves in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even after this COVID-19 passes, we have to try our best to know Allah in times of ease, because the reality is that we are going to be tested. And when we're tested, because we took care of Allah's rights in those times of ease, when those times of hardship come and try to and will squeeze us, Allah is going to be with us, and Allah is going to remember us and help us.
Subhanallah. Allah make us of the people who remember Him in times of ease.
I hope I kind of delivered it in a way that it relates to people.
Bro, the people love, as well as me, the episodes of Sunnah Remedies, because you always bring it along, Barak. But we do have to end. But I will end with one last question that we've been having on, which is asking, when will your oil be back in stock? I think that might refer to the black seed oil.
Okay, so Akhi, we've been getting that question a lot. It is in customs, so it's in the country.
Okay,
However,
nice.
because of like I said, the current situation, it hasn't been released because I'm not sure if people are not going to work because it has to be released. So we are having huge difficulties with that. However,
Oh,
we
make it easy.
do. People who are still asking, we do have thyme honey, which is very, very, very high in antioxidants. That's the only thing that we have left. We do have a bit of that. We do have a few jars left of that honey. Hopefully we are planning
Those
to
listening to
restock.
this, I would say that grab them last few jars of honey, because okay, that do you know what, bro? Honestly, yeah, Allah is my witness. I'm not. I don't lie anyway, but I'm saying like I'm not lying this time specifically, especially. This morning, like my throat was mash up. And you know what, bro? I went to the cupboard, and what did I draw for?
Sunnah Remedies honey.
I drew for the Sunnah Remedies honey yak. I got some water,
Alhamdulillah.
put it in. Actually, instantly, bro. Alhamdulillah. You can hear me now, bro. My
Alhamdulillah.
throat, there's no issues. Actually, my throat was
Alhamdulillah.
killing me, bro. It was like, I was coughing. Back that honey, akhi, alhamdulillah. And so I appreciate that. But, bro, you know what? I was such an idiot because everyone's out baking nowadays and stuff in lockdown, yeah? I decided to try and make homemade donuts, which, by the way, I very successfully made. Allahumma barik, yeah.
MashaAllah.
But I made them honey glazed, and I couldn't find the supermarket honey, because I'm not gonna waste the premium Sunnah Remedies honey to glaze my donuts in it. But I couldn't
Don't
find
worry,
it.
akhi.
I couldn't find it, so I used the Sunnah Remedies honey. Akhi, so my jar has gone down so much.
No, so what we need to stock you up then, inshallah. Yeah.
Bro, you need, but you know what? I love your wild forest honey. I know you know that. I love your wild forest honey. So, but yeah,
Have you tried? You know what? Have you tried the thyme honey?
Nah.
Akhi, you know what? I'll send you out the thyme honey, inshallah. Because to be
Inshallah.
honest, Omar, he said to me he needs a new batch. But guys, obviously a lot of people, just a little slight note. A lot
Of
of people,
course.
yes, habbatus soda is very, very good for immune system. But however, don't neglect the benefits of honey as well. Guys, research on honey. Do your own research. Honey is very, very high in antioxidants, and thereby it helps to enhance the immune system. So don't forget about honey. If not just forget, the black seed oil is very, very good, but also try to incorporate honey as well. Unpasteurized, unhomogenized, good quality honey. Also, bee propolis, bee pollen is an amazing superfood, packed full of amino acids. Guys, these are the things. There's so many things that we could talk about, but these are just the things that I'm trying to remember now and trying to push out.
And where can they grab them? sunnahremedies.co.uk.
Yeah, so sunnahremedies.co.uk. We are hopefully going to bring a lot more things into the shop. So just watch the space, inshallah, and hopefully, akhi, we're allowed the restrictions are loosened up within the next 2.5 weeks, and we can, because you know what it is, but a lot of patients do want to come, and we've just said to them, look, we're sticking by. Hopefully, with the next 2.5 weeks, we will be up and running, and we will be providing hijama during the month of Ramadan. There are many opinions in relating to hijama, wet cupping, and sports therapies during fasting. We are of the opinion that wet cupping does not break the fast, as the hadith of that the cuppa and the one that is being cupped breaks the fast. This hadith has been abrogated, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did perform hijama while in Medina during his fast. Yes, there are many differences of opinion. Some people say that was only for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which was specific. However, there is a difference of opinion, and he done it in the state of ihram. So there is a lot of the scholars have said that fasting, hijama, wet cupping during the fast does not break the fast, and I'm of that opinion. And it's actually, in my opinion, through my studies, it's actually much more beneficial to do hijama. There is many ahadith that hijama on an empty stomach is beneficial, as you are optimizing the detoxification process. So I prefer to do hijama in a fasted state. So we would do it after dhuhr, as it is very, very, very beneficial. And it does, look, say for example, you're someone who's used to doing hijama. the only time that I would recommend that a person doesn't do wet cupping while in a fasted state, if the person has certain medical issues that will probably make him feel a little bit weak. But generally, in most cases, it's not an issue. It's not an issue. Sorry.
Jazakallah khair, Abdul Hakim. Thank you so much for joining us on Freshly Grounded, and thank you to everyone who was watching live. This video is going to stay as an actual episode as well, so you can comment below, etc. But thank you for everyone who watched live and everyone who asked their questions in. Jazakallah khair, Abdul Hakim, for answering the questions, as much of them we could get through, and inshallah we look forward to seeing you very soon in person, bi'idhnillah.
Inshallah, Habibi Allah. Hopefully you guys have benefited. And if you want more benefits, just go onto our Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. And to be honest, our main objective is to empower the people and to educate ourselves and them as much as we can in relation to optimizing our health, inshallah.
Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa
Wa alaikum
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
salam. Wa salam wa rahmatullahi.